Hey guys, welcome back to the Roman Rodez Podcast. I'm Roman.
I'm Rodez, and today we're going to be talking about ancient letters, what had unknown consequences.
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 Okay, so we're talking about letters of complaint, people complaining in letters and the consequences.
Got all those words out, did you?
Yes, I did.
So starting with what is considered to be the oldest historical letter of complaint is called the Complaint Tablet of Ian Nasner. So basically, back in the day, should I just get right into the letter?
Get right into it, I guess.
Right
So we got to put a little context. I guess this was in what, 1750 BC or what was it?
Exactly that time, 1750 BCE, before Common Era.
Before the Common Era.
So it was back in the day, way old.
And this was in Babylonia, am I correct?
The original. It's written in like that old school scratchy text where it's just lines connecting each other,
okay.
Written in stone. Thing to keep in mind is that I'm sure there was many letters written of complaints so that people would know this is a bad business and pass them around. But they would probably be written in clay, dried up. They get cracked, broken over time. This was written in stone.
Well, it's funny how we kind of think of complaining and kind of stuff like that, like letters to a company about complaining about something as kind of a modern thing.
Yeah.
But we have to remember
they had businesses back then too. This is exactly what this is. This is a merchant. I believe he was from the Persian Gulf. He was selling copper to a guy in Mesopotamia. Okay. He was selling specifically copper ingots. So that's basically just the copper ore before anything is done to it. So the merchant in Mesopotamia could then, process it, turn it into bracelets, spearheads, whatever have you,
All right.
So this is important stuff. It was back in the day. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's jets flying overhead. It's terrifying.
Some
Cloverfield.
Some fireworks or bullets
it's amazing.
Fired earlier. This is kind of crazy night.
Part of living in San Antonio, Texas.
The country.
Yeah. All right, so
starting in what?
Stone tablet, letter of complaint, first one ever written
wanted this
in Babylonia.
Written down for the ages to know, and today we know it because he disliked this person so much. Like extra money for, and look at keep him track too. All right, let's just go into it. It starts as, tell Ian Nasner, Nanny sends the following message. Now, Nanny is the name of the guy complaining. Yeah. That right off the bat sounds like a complaining name. I bet back in the day, Ian Nasner this guy's going to be trouble to work with. I'm starting it. Just go. When you came, you said to me as follows, I will give Gimli's son when he comes, in parentheses. What is that? Gimli's son. Or Gimli's son. Oh, okay. Fine quality copper ingots. You left then, but you did not do what you promised me. You put ingots which were not good before my messenger, Sitsin, and said, if you want to take them, take them. If you do not want to take them, go away.
Okay, I can imagine this kind of exchange going on between these two guys.
So basically, the guy, he sends his messenger, and the messenger's like, these aren't really good, this isn't good material. And he's saying, you told him, that well, if you want them, take them. If you don't, then go away.
These aren't the ingots I ordered.
This is exactly, this is not what the size of the thing that it's the original complaint too. It's not what I paid for. What do you take me for? That you treat somebody like me with such contempt? I have said, as messengers, gentlemen, like ourselves, to collect the bag with my money deposited with you. But you have treated me with contempt by sending them back to me empty-handed several times and through enemy territory. Is there anyone among the merchants who trade with Tel Moon who have treated me in this way? Now keep in mind, it's been a back and forth. He's sending the messenger, give me back my money, and the guy's sending him back, and he's complaining, I'm sending good guys and you're treating them like trash, and you keep sending them back and forth through enemy territory, through dangerous lands.
What was this again?
He's sending people through enemy territories.
What was it between what part? And
between the Persian Gulf and Mesopotamia.
Okay,
Google it if you will. Yeah. Continuing. You alone treat my messenger with contempt on account of that one trifling mina of silver which I owe you. And the way the punctuation is written in there, and I'm guessing they use different punctuation in Mesopotamia, he's saying you're complaining about some silver that I owe you, but it's like written so that you could tell there's sarcasm in it, as in, what do I owe you?
Yeah.
You're a jerk. You feel free to speak to me in such a way. Well, I have given you the palace on behalf, 1,080 pounds of copper and which has likewise given 1,080 pounds of copper, apart from what we both have had written on a sealed tablet to be kept in the temple of Samos. He's referring to a receipt. Basically, it looks like he paid him half now, he's going to pay him the half later, and the receipt was written, sent off to the place for these middles, and he's like, okay, now I need the rest of my money. But he's like, no. The first thing you sent me wasn't what I ordered. This isn't what I need. Either give me the rest of my money or, give me the better ore. And the messenger, I guess that was it, Iasan or whatever, was like, no, this is what I'm sending you now. Continues. How have you treated me for that copper? You have withheld my money bag from me in enemy territory. It is now up to you to restore my money in full. Basically, I need a refund. I need a refund now. I don't want your refund.
I like the anger that you're putting behind these words. I can imagine.
You could hear it.
Okay, but how would they?
Because he's like, working at you. I have a receipt. I want my refund.
So, but this, it's funny because, if you're talking back and forth between two people, the message gets, known right away, but he's carving it in stone.
He's carving the stone.
How angry is he carving it
with punctuation written in stone, and he's making sure everybody knows this. He's even telling both sides, it's like, just so we know, this person is a terrible jerk. Take cognizance that from now on, I will not accept here any copper from you that is not of fine quality.
Wow.
I shall from now on select and take ingots individually in my own yard, and I shall exercise against you my right of rejection, because you have treated me with contempt. Letters from Mesopotamia. So basically, it just ends
crazy.
Like that last part was his fancy way of saying, I will never shop here again. Fantastic. The original, I'll take my business out. It's just like, so.
I'm surprised he didn't carve like 3 stars or 2 stars at the bottom.
Man, you know what?
Star out of 5?
It did say that it was broken.
Oh, so there could have been longer.
So there could have been on there. He's like, I will only give you 3 statues of Baal if you had returned my money, but now expect 0 statues of Baal. None at all.
And where is this tablet? So this is an actual stone tablet.
It was found in the city of Ur, someplace in Mesopotamia. It's now in a British museum. But I just love that you could just totally transport this to now. And it's like, it sounds like I'm riffing on this guy, and he might have had a legitimate complaint. Honestly, I'm kind of telling on him because I'm not hearing the other guy's
Well, that's
story.
the important thing back then. Now since we can get everything at a moment's notice, snap out our fingers.
Yeah.
Back then, this was tough work getting
fair,
this.
You know what? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just give him, he paid for something expecting everything to be chill, and it's like, this isn't what I need. And then you're not working with me, and it's just terrible.
Well, so Nani was wanting to resell these ores or something, right?
He was going to, I believe, he didn't say exactly what he was going to do. He was either going to resell it or refine it.
Okay.
And either or could have been. He could have been that he was getting a bulk discount. Maybe, what is it, like he was going to buy a whole bunch and then resell it individually. The point is, he was a businessman. He was going to resell it. He was going to get profit from it, but he was expecting it to be of a certain quality. So I'm assuming he wanted there to be maybe a certain ratio of, metal to mineral or something like that. Whatever they looked for, he wasn't finding it. And he said, you promised me it would be better than this. And the other guy's like, that's what I got. Take it or leave it. And the guy's like, I paid you half already. And the guy's like, no refunds. And it's like, he's just like fuming. And it's like, I can understand that. I too have been a Nani. And I too have dealt with my own Ianasners. People just like, they're not.
I think everybody has.
Yeah, pretty much that's the Wish app.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you tried buying anything from there, that's your problem. It's like you just want to rant on them. It's like, I'm taking my business, back to Amazon. I dislike you.
Now
have treated me with contempt.
I can imagine Nani he writes this stone tablet. So, but he sent it to Al Nasir, or what's the name of the other guy?
It didn't say. His name is.
Or is it? Can you imagine
It's Ian Nasir.
Ian Nasir.
Yeah, Nasir, and I'm pretty sure it was.
Nasir.
Now keep in mind too, however he's saying or pronouncing it too could be the wrong way. It's a foreign name, so he could be he's spelling it how his language spells it too.
Okay, yeah.
And maybe too.
So there might be even like there could
be some
break
guy
in communication.
It could be a break in communication. It could also be too that there's some chill dude named Ian Nasir, and there's some other guy named Ian Nazer, and he's just got their names mixed up. And it's like, I don't even sell copper ingots. I sell grapes. Why does this guy hate me?
Now I can imagine Nani going around to his village or wherever he lives, telling everybody.
have no. He said running around telling everybody about it. All right, so it's written in stone.
Yeah.
What if he used that so that way he could use it as a print to get clay and stamp it? He's just stamping it and putting it everywhere, putting little ropes on the little clay bits and throwing them everywhere he can.
Going around to his neighbors. Here's a flyer.
Here's a flyer. I'm just saying, like, he goes to the port and he's got like a big pile of tablets and he just starts slipping them into like people's packages. So whenever they open it up, this is totally unrelated to what you're, opening up in your package. But just so you know, if you're doing business with these people, don't do it with this guy. I could see that. Just that rage hate. It's like, I'm going to need one stone tablet carved permanently, and I will need 50 tons of clay cut thus so that I may imprint it, and cut thus so, and spread throughout the lands. Like,
that is an interesting thing.
I have a feeling like
how people were acting back then, and how maybe similar it was.
I would love to them find something from the Silk Road. You're familiar with it's the trading route between China and like everywhere back in the day, and that like they'll find throughout it, this same letter of complaint written in clay and just post out like, wow, man, this guy got his message out there. Like, it might have done some serious damage. And then like out in the Persian Gulf, they finally found my business was ruined. Psych! Everybody thought Nani was a jerk and thought I was great and bought my awesome copper ingots. Maybe
it's a possibility. I mean, you can never know what.
Yeah, we don't know what effect.
It's funny that we have this artifact, but we kind of don't know the surroundings, the details besides what it is. There's a lot of detail in the tablets, but I'm kind of thinking about who these personalities were and like what the relationship was, Yeah. Because I mean,
I want to know more about this
because it is one-sided. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. We don't have both sides of the story, and there's always two sides to the story.
This would be my weird time travel thing. If somebody's like, you need somewhere to time travel, that's not a famous place. I'm like, I need to know about this guy. What was going on in his life? He sounds fun.
Yeah.
Or horrible.
So instead of like going back in time to like, I don't know, save humanity or do some kind of great thing, it's just like, I want to go back to see what the heck is going on.
They say like you can't go back to the big points in history because it's too damaging and everybody wants to visit them. Find a random point. You can't go to the Gettysburg Address. You can either go before or after and see what's up, see how people are talking about it. Like, man, that was so great. I want to go, but you can't go there. It'd be too conspicuous. It's like, I want to go to Mesopotamia. Show me this guy. I want to know. I want to see the quality of these copper ingots, their inferiority. Do I just like hold one up and it falls to bits and it's like, oh man, he should have wrote a longer stone tablet. I'm gonna give him some copper. I'm gonna give him some coins so that way he can buy like 10 more. Maybe.
So when was this? Do you have any details about like when this tablet was found, or
what does that matter?
I don't know, because I'm thinking, what kind of
1953.
Effect? Only in the 50s.
What effect did that have? How did that?
Like if it had any effect?
It was found in the ruins of Ur.
Ur.
How'd you pronounce
that
it?
Sounds Ur.
Ur. It's the Sumerian.
Okay.
So it's in South Iraq. Although Ur was once a coastal city, it was near the Persian Gulf, so it's not too far away.
Well, I kind of want to see, since it was made out of stone and it was durable and lasted.
Literally written in stone.
Yeah, I mean, maybe is that where the saying came from, or how did it affect other people? Did it like get passed around generations later, and people are like, oh, I remember Nani, or they kind of took that as like, okay, this is.
Like was it well known in its time? You mean
kind of, or like saying
I'm gonna say no, because if it was, I think there'd be a little bit more record of that. Or to be fair, who knows? We did lose a lot of records back in those record losing times. Example was it the Goths attacking Rome, burning their great libraries.
Oh, yeah.
I think there was a general book burnings whenever areas would conquest. So maybe somehow that became the origin, through time.
It was funny how like what sticks around and then what doesn't. I mean,
there's some great poets. There were some guys just like, I figured out what every plant does medicinally. I could cure cancer. I could cure aging. Fire is on me. Why did I write this in papyrus? And here Nani is like, you should have written it in stone. Stone so they know.
Well, yeah.
Man. Well, you know what though? The Sumerian language, would it be?
Sumerian.
It's basically, it's just lines. It's just, I think from what I understand,
like hieroglyphs.
No. Hieroglyphs are full pictures. This is the original language. It literally could be written with a stick and slash. So it's like you get like sort of a triangle shape. Yeah.
Language.
And it would. Well, it's not simplified. It was the original language. So it's the complex.
But I mean,
the origin.
We would consider just simple shapes and.
Not really.
Not really.
You know what? I'm not a linguist. Okay, let's put it this way. It's the American alphabet. They have letters with specific sounds, and you can go now and look at their alphabet and find what the sounds mean and rearrange them to make sounds. And you could basically like, you could sort of semi-spell out your name, and somebody from that era could come and try and read it phonetically what you're trying to say.
Oh, okay.
So they had an alphabet. It's literally, when I say simplified
it's a
alphabet,
phonetic alphabet kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a very phonetic. It's like the English alphabet, really. Theirs is very close to ours. Yeah, and like you said, I think their tool they could use. I believe they didn't like chisel it out. I think they had like one thing they could stamp, and that made a letter. Stamp, make a letter. So it wouldn't take forever, but it would you need some precision also too, because this stone tablet was only like it gives me some measurements here that I didn't look about because I don't think it's important, but you do. About 4.6 inches in height, it's 2 inches wide and about 1 inch thick. Okay. So yeah, how long would you say that? Like about
4.5 inches tall? Is it?
About 4.5 inches high. So
that's kind of small.
That's why I said that's what I got from the measurements. That's why I'm saying I think he carved it like that and he stamped it. Like you thought I was picturing like he's like.
Oh, well, I was thinking like a book size.
Nani, the letter's not that long.
Something like this.
It's because you're thinking of hieroglyphs. Like you're thinking of pretty pictures. It was like
I guess so.
It's like they have their simple alphabet. It's not Hercules coming up and like smash it into their bones so that I could send it over. It's like no, he made a seal. I think smashed it into stuff and put it everywhere. That's why you thought I sounded dumb when I was talking about it. You were picturing a giant tablet.
No. Well, I didn't think it was a dumb idea. I thought it was highly possible. I was just thinking of a bigger tablet because when you say the word
Rosetta
tablet,
Stone, and maybe
exactly.
I was like, no. This guy just had like
something book size, where you could hold in your hands.
No, he might have done it himself too. I'm just saying it was about yay-ish big. So he could stamp it and just make sure people know. Maybe put ink on it, and there was papyrus. Stamp. I hate it. He just walked around the docks, sloshed it in like ink or dye, and stamped it on random things. Where people are like, what are you doing over there? Nothing. I'm just helping you out so people know not to get robbed by Ian Nasner. Stamp. And then like he had to go some time in jail. It's like, you know why you're here? I have no idea why. And it was like, tell the port officer to turn his face. Complaint letter to Ian Nasner. That could have been written by any Nani. Everybody knows it was you. You explained everything that you've been yelling about for weeks. Everybody knows it was you.
Recognition for this complaint, right?
They had to take his. I bet you the house they found it in wasn't his. They had to take it away from him so he would stop. It was going into old age, still just stamping it.
He didn't want to drop it.
That is hilarious. Oh, all right. But when I brought this story up to you, you were telling me of another letter of unintended consequences.
Yes.
The letter of, what was it called?
The 95 Theses by Martin Luther for you religious history people.
It was called the 95 Theses?
95 Theses.
No, why?
Huh?
Why was it called
Or the Disputation on the Power of Indulgences.
Is that what was written on it?
That was the title of the paper.
Now, this is from, if you've ever seen, I think it was a Wishbone. There's a guy...
They did this as a Wishbone episode?
I remember they did it as a cartoon something before. This is like how I originally learned about Luther. They were time traveling or something, and there was like some dude dressed up like a old school college professor, and he walks up to a building, undoes his scroll, tap. Well, it's like, oh, nobody's gonna see him. Like, oh, why is he doing this in the dead of night? What is it right? And then it goes up and it's like a letter of complaint. And you were not supposed to nail things to. He nailed it to a church door, right?
He nailed it to a church door. That's the story. Everybody knows how Martin Luther created the
glue existed back then.
Yeah,
just probably
did. Okay, for those of you who don't know, who are very into religious history, Martin Luther was a guy who started the Protestant Reformation. He did so by putting 95 Theses. The story goes he posted it to a door, nailed it to a door. These problems he had with the Catholic Church, but I guess a lot of detail is kind of taken away from the story. What happened first is he didn't like the whole idea or how the church was handling plenary indulgences. Are you aware with indulgences?
Indulge me.
Okay, there are things that you can do, prayers you can do, and different things you can do in order to kind of take away the time that you were going to spend in. Man, my mind went blank for a second.
Purgatory.
Purgatory. Heaven? Yes. How did I not remember that? So basically, the whole idea, with Catholic. Doctrine is that we're all born with original sin. We can't help sin because we're human, but there's ways that we can help to kind of lessen our time in the afterlife when we're going to be punished. Not if we go to hell, but if we go to purgatory. I know this is probably a little bit because not everybody. It's beliefs that Not everybody has. But what happened was that
this was the original guy of, I don't share this belief.
Martin Luther,
you need to know. Read your door.
Yeah, he didn't kind of like the way that indulgences were being sold because there was a lot of different practices that the Catholic Church took. And I'm coming from, as a practicing Catholic, kind of the history of it. You know, Catholics, the Catholic Church was
You're
kind
getting
of
one side of the story right now.
Story. And then Rose will tell you the other side of the story. Okay, so the distribution of this pamphlet into German kind of started the whole Reformation, and the people were saying, "Okay, I kind of don't. I agree with these beliefs that you hold, that Martin Luther held against the Catholic Church." Mm-hmm. But years later, I don't know exactly what time, but Luther said that basically what he really wanted to do was to start an academic discussion. You know, he really didn't want to start a Reformation. He just wanted to bring this up and say, "Hey, this is what I believe is wrong."
He didn't start the flame war.
No, the what?
Yeah, just like the flame. Basically,
flame?
people talking about bashing this thing down and we got to tear it apart. He just wanted a discussion. He wanted an intense discussion. Huh?
I agree. Yes, that's exactly.
He was
but
just trying to
heard you on that statement.
Was it so? Now the pamphlet. So there was like a whole book going around. People talking about.
Yeah.
Like this is 95. This is the things that, and it was just like such a revolutionary idea at the time.
Yes.
People were like it was one of those real thinkers. Like it was the original Communist Manifesto. It was the original, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the Catcher in the Rye of its time, if you will.
I have neither read Catcher in the Rye or the Communist Manifesto or the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I can attain to that.
It was a big book at the time. Well, pamphlet.
Yeah.
Was it a full pamphlet? Because like the original thing was like just one page, or was it? Did he have did he?
You know what? I don't know exactly. It was a letter. It was like.
But basically, this put together the way these 95. What were they called?
95 theses.
He had 95 theses of species on this paper, and it was like.
So I mean, yeah. So basically, Luther claimed, he kind of didn't really. His intention wasn't for it to be widely distributed, but when somebody got a hold of it and translated it into the common language, it did, and it became much more than just an academic discussion. It became a whole revolution where there was a schism in the church, and then we had the Protestants and Catholics.
Sir, that I believe that he did not think that he truly believed that it would happen. But anybody who goes through these steps to come up with these things, write it out professionally, put it down in Latin, because he was a native German speaker, to put it down in Latin, part of his brain was like, this is going to change things. I'm going to change the whole world. Any guy who does that thinks that I'm sure
he wanted to make some change. That was his whole purpose, but not the way that it turned out. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, because even then the Protestant denominations, the way it split, Protestantism split. There's a lot of people who kind of then took what Martin Luther believed and said, well, we're going to keep this and not keep that.
So originally it was Catholicisms, and they call themselves Lutherans after, right? After
the people who
he didn't want to be called named after him, right? Was that a thing?
I think the term he most liked was an evangelical.
Oh, really? Well, now I know. I thought that was kind of made up by America. Wow.
And so the people
who
directly followed what Martin Luther was.
Today I learned.
The ideas that Martin Luther was proposing were Lutherans, but then, of course, it split. And now...
Was he excommunicated or something because of that?
He was excommunicated.
No more, you're not Catholic no more.
I'm not sure what happened before he died, if he...
What's the stance, can I ask, if you don't mind, the stance of Catholics on Lutheran now? Luther? The show and this guy back in the day. Excellent BBC program.
I have not seen the show, but
I've heard good things. Well, you should check it out. Definitely check it out. Good actor. Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
Yeah, good acting, I've heard. But so what do you say? Okay, as personally, what do you think about him? Like, do you think he just broke it all up? Like, we could all just be Catholics right now, and you'd be happy?
Well, no. I mean, I think we should. And this is my personal belief. No offense. I know people are going to take offense.
I'm taking offense right now that you think I'm going to be offended, sir. Do you think I'm some sort of
funny that we're having this discussion between a Catholic and a Protestant, I guess.
What is it? Everybody who's not Catholic a Protestant?
Well, no, because you could be atheist. You could be any other religion.
Would that not be a Protestant?
If you're Christian and non-Catholic, you're Protestant.
So then atheists are Protestant.
No, atheists are atheists.
They're not Christian.
Protestant is a branch of Christianity. If you're not Christian, if you're Buddhist...
Can I be a non-Christian? I cannot be a non-Christian Protestant.
No, because Protestants are Christians.
You know what, though? You don't define me. I define me. But
well,
continue.
Of course, but...
Okay, continue, though. So we're interested that we're having this discussion.
Yes.
Why? Is that interesting?
It's because it is. Because it is.
This is what Luther wanted to have.
Luther
But
wanted.
he didn't want it to be.
He wanted some kind
he didn't want me to be protesting. He wanted us to just be Catholics and be like, let's just have a discussion about how we should reorganize things. Not like we're having a split. It's Hardee's and Carl's Jr. now.
It's always healthy in order. Hardee's and Carl's Jr. Wait, am I Hardee's or am I Carl's Jr.?
Oh man, I guess technically you're Hardee's, but Carl's Jr. Man, go up to Carl's Jr. There's just something different about him. You got to go up to a northern state. I know it's a drag, but it's kind of
been to a Hardee's. I've never been to Hardee's.
Most of them are attached to gas stations now.
Really?
I haven't had the best. They're usually pretty decent, but I usually don't have the best experience overall. Mm-hmm. But Carl's Jr., they just have, maybe it was just that one that I was at, just like the best one. You know how sometimes you can go to a place and it's like the franchise isn't trash, but a lot of them are.
Yeah.
And you can find that one, that golden one. Like there's always a good Denny's and a bad Denny's.
That's true. There's actually one. If you're San Antonio native, if you go down 410 north, there's actually like two Denny's right across the street from another. One's a good, one's a bad. And do you know what keeps this show going? Do you know what keeps us sane in this show? No, is that we can relate everything back to food and agree on that at least. When controversial topics come up.
Because, so his main gripe was about these indulgences.
Yes.
But I'm not 100% sure. I believe most Protestants don't do the blood and body?
The communion?
Communion.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it, that's mostly a Catholic thing. So was that also a thing that he was against? Was it like other stuff too, other than like?
I'm sure there was other small things, but the biggest thing was the indulgence.
Because I know when we were talking about this in history class up in Wisconsin, because the discussion will be much more different down here. It's like it's predominantly Catholic in the south of Texas, and the north of Wisconsin, it was predominantly Lutheran or Pentecostal. Well, I know the difference was they were talking about the history teacher was saying, yeah, like they believed everything should just be about the book. And you say, like, the way your churches are, like, what does your church look like? Like, it's just a building with pews and it's like very bare. And they're like, yeah, and they didn't like all the decoration and the fromage.
Well, yeah, back in the day, when you would build a church, I mean, it was
the town
like
center.
Palace, you go to these old
made
basilicas.
Of stone. They exist forevers.
Yeah, they're very beautiful made. And I can see his idea about trying to keep everything bare, and I think it is healthy to kind of if you have disagreements with anything and to bring them up. Academic discussion and any kind of discussion is necessary. But
I agree.
Martin Luther, with his little letter of complaint, he started the Reformation.
The way you say it, with his little letter of complaint, and ruined it all for us. But no, okay.
All right.
Man, yeah, the interesting stuff. There's a lot I did not know there, and in general about who I am as a person.
Yeah.
About the thoughts that I have, because like the Luther. Technically, America started as a Protestant separation of I know, was it the Roman Catholic Church pretty much was all over Europe. Mm-hmm. England was like, I need to get divorced. Church of England. It became that, but originally it was Catholic. Yeah. And there's a whole split with that whole thing with remember 5th of November? Guy Fawkes. There was during the time whenever the Catholic Church was splitting because the king wanted a divorce and the Pope was like, no divorces. Henry, I think. There's a few of them. I'm pretty sure that's the right guess. So that dude was like, I need a divorce, and I don't like that you guys tell me I can't get it. Yeah. I'm the king. Boom. Church of England. Pretty much the same rules, except for I can get divorced. And they were like persecuting Catholics. Now, not necessarily him, but a lot of the people who worked for him, according to some show that I've kind of watched. And there was this dude his name was Guy Fawkes. And he wanted to blow up Parliament. And a lot of people today embrace him as this huge revolutionary about bringing down the government. But he wanted to bring down the government so that they could install, what do they call it whenever the church is in charge? Churchigarchy? Church apathy? Theocracy.
Theocracy.
Yeah. He wanted to install one of those. He wasn't like, let's all be rebels. He was like, let's all be Catholic. But so they were still basically...
That could be another topic for this podcast to go into that whole Guy Fawkes thing.
The Americans wanted even more differences. They didn't want to be Church of England. They didn't want to be the original Pilgrims. Wanted to be their own church, right?
Ooh,
that was a big thing.
Freedom to just
that was the main thing. Let's be honest. That was their main thing. They didn't want because There's a law against like federal religion, but back in the day, state religions were a thing in the original 13 colonies. They wanted the right to not be told what to do, but they also wanted the right to tell other people what to do. That's how it started. They were like, you guys are putting too many rules on us and not letting us put enough rules on other people, so we're going to leave. We're going to leave and ruin it for everybody on that side of the planet. It's just everybody. From the northest pole to the southest pole, everybody. Thanks. Yeah, I guess I'll share your point. Martin Luther and your little papers, your flyers, you and Nani.
Well, look. Okay, so maybe the first letter of complaint.
Should we
There's
just
a little
agree
tablet.
that all writing is terrible and no one should ever learn?
Well, I mean, you never know what kind of like
effects it'll have, right? The
ripples it's gonna have,
Yeah, good point. I'll take that.
Because we're having this episode and we're talking about tablet that was just a letter of complaint about selling ingots, and then we have another letter of complaint that was started this whole change in the way people practice religion.
Face literally of the world.
So you never know what impact you're gonna have.
Yeah, man. Write more letters. Keep those Yelp replies coming. You never know when one's gonna change the world. We're gonna take a little break now, guys, because we need to get food in our faces. As you can't tell, we're turning into skeletons.
Hey guys, we're back from the break. Now, Rhodes, you had another letter of complaint coming out of
Now, this
Asia?
one's not direct. Yeah, that whole freaking continent. From Russia down to India. Yeah, that vague vicinity. China.
In China, okay.
All right. So, not necessarily a letter of complaint, but involving a letter of an unintended consequences.
Okay.
So, now, this is from the subreddit Zin, and this post was by Arias108. Just for reference.
Give credit to Reddit.
Forgive my mispronunciation of these Mandarin or Cantonese names, as the tone is more, how their names are spoken than actually like phonetically. So it's written phonetically. I'll do my best to pronounce their names. So this guy, Sun Dongpo, a famous Buddhist poet of the Song dynasty, that's the era that it was, how they measure time instead of BC, was assigned to the official post of Guzanho. Across the river, on the southern shore, was Jinshan, the Golden Mountain Temple where Chan Master Foyan presided. So you got a Buddhist poet and a Chan Master.
Okay.
All right. So one day the poet's feeling, he's like, oh man, I'm so great at poetry. I'm going to practice a little. I'm going to write a poem, and I'm going to ask, I'm ad-libbing here obviously now, ask this attendant to send it to the Chan. Again, another guy, another Nani, and he's sending it off with someone else. I'm going to smell this letter, and I'm going to have him verify it. Now, basically what he's really saying is, I'm going to write a poem so good that this is... It said Chen Master, but I think he means Zen. I think it was like the guy who's good at, like, focusing.
Zen.
He's going to see, like, how good this poem is.
Okay.
And it's like, I'm going to take him to the next level. I might not hear back, because he could just ascend with freaking nirvana of how good this poem is. Admittedly, translated from Cantonese. This is the poem. Prepared?
Okay, yeah.
Prepare. Focus yourselves. Focus. Bowing with my highest respect to the Diva of Divas, whose fine light illuminates the whole universe. The 8 winds cannot move me, for I am sitting upright on the golden purple lotus blossom. So, after receiving the poem from the attendant, reading it, Chan Master Foam picks up the brush, writes down his reply, sends it back. Sun Dongpo, the poet, expecting praise and like, wow, thanks for teaching me to Kamehameha because that was so good. One word. Pie. Fart. Now, this is a word, that's what the word is written. Apparently, in Chinese, that means utter nonsense.
Okay.
But
that
one word,
sense, yeah.
and he gets the point. He gets that it's saying fart, and it's utter and all of that layers, and like, the modern equivalent of like
calling up BS to somebody.
Maybe. I think it's like, the other thing would be like, sending a long, thoughtful text message out and getting back K.
Yeah.
Just that letter K. Nothing else. Not OK. Not K-A-Y. Just K. Lowercase.
That's how much I appreciate it.
But no period at the end because the phone autocorrect put a period at the end. I was like, nah, delete that. One letter, no punctuation needed. So the guy gets it, and he was like, what? Like it was just too much for him to bear. He's he's this eloquent guy. His whole job is being a Buddhist poet, just great at it. And he's like sending it to, someone else, another gentleman. And really, like that just had to be blowing his mind. So instead of sending his attendant, he gets in that boat. He's like, I need to talk to this guy right now. So he goes, canoes over, crosses this river, which was dangerous at the time.
He goes to see him?
He goes to see him physically in a tiny little canoe.
Okay.
Dangerous at the time. I don't remember the river, but I'm sure all the rivers back then were dangerous. They're dangerous now. Don't go crossing rivers. Don't go chasing waterfalls, and don't go crossing rivers. So anyway, he goes there and he's like, have I insulted you? Because he's still,
wow.
Yeah. He's just like, part of him too has to realize like, you don't want to talk too much, but he's also wondering like, what happened here? Why would you do this? Was it did you get my address wrong? Was this to someone else? So he's like, why would you do that? The guy says, the Chan master, the Zen master, he laughs right in his face. Dang. He's like, have I insulted you? And just like, ha 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 ha. He's like freaking out. And the guy goes, oh, didn't you say that the 8 winds cannot move you? How come you were sent across the river with just a fart?
Oh,
burn. And he's like, it was an ultra burn. Now though, because he's a Zen master and things he does have meaning, he realizes, whoa, I need to calm down. He took a step back and he realized because the whole point of his poem was how stirred, it had all this element and floweriness to it.
Yeah. It was to get a reaction out of him.
He was basically saying, look at how great I am. I'm the most Zen. I'm focused. I'm immovable. And the guy said, really? The weakest effort I can put in. And the guy was like, come across this river. Let me change my whole day plans just to go talk to you. So supposedly the guy was like ashamed, but he said he learned a lesson and just left quietly, just like, wow, man, I learned something.
That's a lesson right there.
Zen lesson today. Because the thing about it, and the guy says, if he was really a man of spiritual refinement, completely unaffected by the 8 winds, then how could he be so easily provoked? And that's just a great message, I think, today in general.
Yeah.
Like, if you're basically, okay, this is the original, is like, I'm unmoved by the 8 winds, and like, the fart, and it was like destroyed his whole day. It's just, if you're walking around telling people that like nothing offends me, I'm I'm a stone, I'm untouched, I don't need people's help, and then when the smallest thing happens, you're like, I'm the most offended person alive and I need help from everybody needs to just explode. It's like, clearly, I was like, if you're gonna be like that, don't say that you're not.
It's a lesson in understanding how maybe difficult having self-importance, or having your own.
It's about self-importance, and
yourself.
it's about using hyperbole too. Like, you know what? Don't say you're something you're not.
Exactly. Know your limits.
Don't say you're a postman when you don't know anybody's address.
Hey guys, thank you for sticking around and watching the Roman Rodez Podcast. Thank you for watching this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want to see more of the stuff we're gonna do, you can follow us here on YouTube, Roman Rodez on Facebook,
Roman Rodez
on Instagram,
Roman Rodez,
and on Twitter,
Roman Rodez.
Yeah.
ROMAN for Roman, RODEZ for Rose.
What was that?
RODEZ.
What was that?
RODEZ.
It's confusing and whatever, but
not that confusing.
Yeah.
But it is. It's the easier way to spell roads.
It is. That makes sense. It's phonetically correct.
Exactly. There's no silent letters.
No
which
H's.
Are unnecessary.
There's no.
You're not going to worry about no connifs.
Or conniptions.
Oh, exactly. Thanks, guys. Please like the video, subscribe if you can, and do share. We appreciate it. Thanks.